Hello, everybody. Welcome to the pits of Motor Chaos. It's your host, Dave. I got online special guest, Outlaw Nitro funny car driver, Ronald Atholwood. How's it going, Ronald?
Yeah, I'm really well, Dave, and you too?
Good, thank you. How's the weather down under?
Yeah, it's a beautiful sunny morning here this morning. It's, it's still warm. We're still waiting for the winter months to kick in.
So you're the second interview today for me from Australia. I had Anthony Begley on today. Bagley, yeah, Anthony was on. Now you.
Okay, you had Beggs on, yep, that would have been interesting.
So now you're gonna start running with the Aeroflow group this year, right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct, Dave. We've built a brand new funny car. We have done some testing in it, and we're looking to get out towards the end of this month to do a few more test hits in it, and then start running the Aero Outlaw Nitro Funny Car Series.
And you're driving the Black Assassin. Is that a Corvette?
It is. It's a 79 Corvette body. Yes. I actually drove one years ago when I was a kid for my father. Had the same body on it. So when we decided to build the nostalgia type funny car, we had no hesitation on getting another Corvette.
Yeah, the body always reminds me of a Tom McEwen Corvette that Tom McEwen drove.
Yeah, that was a beautiful car. I remember growing up as a kid seeing photos of it, and I actually we were over at the Hot Rod reunion 2 years ago now, 2017, and I got to speak with Tom while he was sitting there, and I got to tell him what a big impression he made on me as a kid and wanted to drive Nitro funny cars.
Oh, that's great. Okay, now so what year did you start drag racing?
Yeah, good question. I drove my father's drove Nitro funny car, the first one, when I was 17 years old. So that's many moons back now. I'm 59 now, so yeah, a long time ago.
So what made you get into drag racing?
Oh well, my father loved drag racing. He's passed away now, but he loved drag racing, and we used to go to the drag racing meetings with him when we were little kids. You know, he's a very good engine builder mechanic and did a lot of work for other races. And later on, he built his own car, which I had a couple of his own cars, which I had the privilege of driving.
So how was your experience for the first time driving a Nitro funny car?
Yes, something else. It was fast, loud. It was something that once you do it, and if it sticks, it's something you just love, and you can't get it out of your system. I love Nitro funny car.
Now, besides Tom the Mongoose McEwen being a big influence on you, what other drivers were big influences on you out there?
Well, out here we've had some marvellous funny car races in Australia. You've got Graham Cowan, of course, and you've got Jimmy Walton. They were superstars of the sport out here. Growing up as a kid, we used to buy all the American magazines we could, and big fan of the Snake and Ed the Ace, and the list, I could go on and on. Twig Ziegler, Gary Densham is a great family friend of ours. Love Gary, he's just a champion. You have so many of them over there.
Now, have you ever done any racing in the United States yet?
No, we haven't, Dave, but it's funny you mentioned that. That's one of our, I have two brothers that help with the car as well, and that's one of our as I mentioned to you earlier when we were texting a couple of weeks back, the Aeroflow Outlaw Funny Car Series, they can run a 34-gallon fuel pump on these cars. Ours has got a 21-gallon pump on it. Our car is set up legally for the NHRA heritage type car, and we would just love one day to be able to bring it over and either run the Hot Rod Reunion or the March Meet. That'd be, a dream come true.
Oh yeah, the March Meet just passed. Yeah, all those Nitro cars. That would be a big funny car field to run with.
It'd be fantastic, even just to get, have a shot at qualifying and seeing what we could do. It'd just be a wonderful thing to be there and be part of that atmosphere. Like I said, we came over in 2017 to the Hot Rod Reunion, and without a doubt, it's the best drag racing meeting I've ever been to, bar none.
So now, how did you come up with the name Black Assassin?
Yeah, good question. My brother Glenn, he's the sign writer. My brother Jeff actually painted the car, and the other brother Glenn, he's the sign writer, and he came up with the name. We hummed and hawed because our race cars have always been black. So, and we've never really put many names on them, but being the nostalgia car, he came up with the Black Assassin. So it just stuck.
So now, throughout your drag racing career, have you drove anything else besides funny cars?
No, not at all, Dave. Like I said, I drove my first Nitro funny car when I was 17. We drove, then my father had the Corvette funny car, drove that. Then we had a big hiatus, and my brothers and I had a couple of other Nitro funny cars, and then now we've built this new one. So, no, I've never sat my backside in anything else.
So what year did you get your funny car license?
I'm just trying to think. It was when I was 17, so 59, so around about 70... 1978.
Yeah, that's a long time.
It is a long time.
Yeah.
But like I said, I haven't had the funding to be running it constantly from then to now. That's for sure. So there's been a fair few hiatuses in that period of time.
So how many funny cars have you driven before the new one?
I drove two for my father, and then Jeffrey and Glenn and I had two different funny cars in the 90s. So this is the fifth in the lineup, the fifth number 5 car.
So
and this is by far the prettiest.
Oh, okay. So your dad was one of your biggest influences then to get into the funny car?
Oh, definitely. He loved funny car. Like I said, he was an engine builder, did a lot of engines for other people. Then he built his first funny car. He had a couple of drivers in that while I was still too young to have a drive, and then eventually I drove it. But, Dad was a mechanic and engine builder. I actually did my apprenticeship with him. So we were very close, and, so influenced me greatly. We just... it's funny, the whole three of us, with the 3 boys, and we all just became drag racing mad. It was the era, I suppose, and we just took to it like ducks to water.
So the Black Assassin funny car, what year was the building completed on that one?
We only completed it a year and a half or so ago. I suppose by the time we got all the bits and pieces together and got it all together, so not long at all. We've had, like I said, we've had a couple of test days in it and had a few teething problems, but last time we ran it, it left the line hard and went straight, so we just need a couple of, we're looking to get out at the end of this month and spend a couple of days at the track and really put a few laps on it and start tuning her up.
Yeah, you'll see how fast she'll go.
I'm sure it'll be, like I said, we're we're very good friends and family friends with Gary Densham, and who's no slouch in any of these classes, and he's sort of helped set us on the right path of where we need to go and how to go. So we're expecting pretty good things out of the old girl.
Yeah, you mentioned Gary Densham, and so did the other interview I had. Anthony had mentioned Gary Densham too. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he's been a great ambassador for Nitro Funny Car, not only in your country but through Australia. Gary's been here so many damn times. I think he is an honorary Australian.
Yeah. So when you first started driving a funny car, when you were young, your father was behind you, supporting you. Was your mother supportive too?
Yeah, Mum was fine. As most mums, she didn't like the idea. I'm just really thankful that the dad was, would let me do it for a start. You know what I mean? Like, I have a son who's 25 now, and I don't know that how well I'd go if I was strapping him into the car. So I was really, really fortunate that Dad had that, felt good enough to let me drive, and I sort of cut my teeth in that first car, and yeah. So, but Mum was very nervous, as you can appreciate,
Yeah, she's worried about you out there. You making the accident.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think all the mums in drag racing, I don't know too many that don't say a silent prayer when their sons are getting in the car.
Yeah.
And daughters for that matter now. There's a lot of women driving as well now that weren't when I first started,
Oh, yeah, just like Anthony's daughters in the Aeroflow group, Emma.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how Beggs does that. I'd be a nervous wreck.
But he said his greatest memory so far was racing side by side with her.
Yes, it would be. It's something very special. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Now, how about
not many people. Yep.
Yeah, not many people get to do that.
No.
So how about your son? Maybe
John Force.
Yeah, with John, Courtney, Brittany, all them. No, how about your son? Does your son like drag racing?
Yeah, he's fine. He likes drag racing. Like I said, we probably don't get to do it enough like we used to in the old days. But he's all keen to have a drive and everything. I just said, well, wait till we get it all sorted out, and then we'll go from there. So I want to make sure it's doing everything right, and so I'm not sending him sideways or catching him on fire. So
yeah,
so we'll get it sorted, and then we'll see what he wants to do.
So that's all you have is one son?
I've got one son and 5 daughters, Dave. So,
now, how about any of the daughters like drag racing?
They'll all watch, but none of them have the passion. You know what I mean? I don't. When I did a lot of my drag racing, they were all very young, so they didn't get to be there a lot. You know what I mean? So it's only now, and they're all grown up and got kiddies of their own now. So that whole hiatus where they could have got interested, we weren't actually running then. So I think, but my boy comes along when we test and run, so he seems very interested. So,
how about the grandkids?
The grandkids. Well, my eldest grandson's 10, and the youngest one, he's just turned 2. So it's a little while yet before I start ordering. I suppose the eldest one could go into a junior dragster by now, couldn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to. He's already made me promise to take him to the track next time we test. So we'll see what he thinks when he hears it and sees it.
Yeah. There you go. That might be the next one to get in the drag racing car. Yeah.
That's it, mate. That's it. I keep telling my youngest daughter. I said, because she was looking at buying. They live on a dairy farm, and she was thinking about getting the boys horses because she used to ride horses when she was young. And I keep telling her to forget the damn horses. We need to get him a junior dragster. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see how I go with that.
Okay. Yeah, he's probably gonna have the need for speed.
I hope so. It's not a bad need to have. You just got to be able to afford to pay for it. That's all.
Right. So how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have two brothers. I'm the eldest of three.
And both of your brothers were involved in drag racing?
Yeah, they're very heavily involved in the race car. They love the sport. As I said earlier, I don't know whether you've got any great pictures of the Assassin, but the paint job on it is magnificent. My brother Jeff painted the car, and the sign writing is it's all hand done. There's not a sticker on the car, so my brother Glenn, the youngest brother, he's the sign writer. He did all the gold leaf work. He can do airbrushing and all the beautiful sign work that they used to do when these cars were brand new, in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, the car looks beautiful.
Yeah, so the car I'd really want to have a look at, and I don't know whether you've seen it in person, is I love the look of Cruise's California Charger. It looks beautifully finished and done. Have you ever seen that car?
Yes, I have. I've seen pictures on Facebook. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's a beautifully finished car.
Yeah, there are a lot of beautiful funny cars out there.
That's for sure. So did you get to go to the March meet?
No, I did not go. Everybody keeps telling me I need to get there at least one time in my life to experience all the Nitro.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I would have loved to have got over this year to have a look, but we went to the Hot Rod Reunion, which is a similar sort of thing, different time of the year, and it was the best drag meeting I've ever been to, bar none, and I've been to plenty of the big show meetings in America, and it was fantastic seeing all those funny cars and top fuel cars, great show.
Yes. Yeah, if you love seeing Nitro, that Bakersfield's the place to be.
Exactly. It was great. And the atmosphere is so good too.
So now for the Black Assassin funny car, how many crew members do you have, and who are your crew members?
We've got me and 4 guys, which is my brother Jeff, Glenn, Vic Baker, and Jason Walker. We turn it around with the 5 of us, so that's all we really need. We're pretty good at ripping her apart and putting her back together. We've had a bit of practice. So my brother Jeff does the clutch. Glenn, Jason does the bottom end, pulls, and Vic and I do the heads, and we get it done that way.
Now, do you currently do you have any sponsorship?
Not at all. It's all come out of my pocket at the moment. So we'll be looking, when we get closer to sort of running full time, we'll be certainly seeing what sort of marketing opportunities we can have out there. And we'll definitely need the more money you have, the better you go. That's the nature of this sport. And would love to, as I said before, love to see if we can find some marketing opportunities, maybe to bring it over to one of those meetings and run either the March meet or the Hot Rod Reunion in America. That'd be one of our biggies off the bucket list.
So now, Ronald, what year did you get back into funny cars full time again?
Well, like I said, Dave, I've been on and off. I ran through the 90s. We ran Nitro Funny Car for a decade there through the 90s against, Peter Russo's and Capitanios and, all the guys that ran through that area. And then we had a big hiatus. When I drove the father's car, that was all through my, 17 to like 22. And then we've only built this new one recently. So it's, back in it now at the ripe old age of, I started getting back in. I suppose I did the first run when I was 57 in this car.
Nah, you're never too old. You look at Chris the Greek Karamassinis. He's 80 something. I don't know his actual age, but he's in his 80s. He's still going with that dragster.
I know. I see the Greek pictures all the time, and I think I want whatever he's having.
You can do it too. Go into your 80s, 90s, as long as you still feel good.
Well, like I said, I try and keep fit. I still exercise a lot and eat well, and and everything's working on me at the moment. So that's all that matters, Dave? Every day you wake up, the top side of the soil's a good day.
Now, for you, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions that you have to do every race?
Not really. I just like to. I like to get in the car early. You know what I mean? I like to. I don't like to be getting in there the last minute. I'd like to get in the car 5 or 6 pair beforehand and be strapped in and snug and have everything fitted and everything just so. You know what I mean? But that's about it. I don't have any superstitions or rituals. I just think. I know when we tow our car to the start line, it's as prepared as best we can. So that's about it. I have all the confidence in the world in the guys and the car. So that's about it. Just like to get in a bit early.
So after all the years, even though you had some hiatuses, after all these years, how do you what still keeps you passionate about drag racing?
I tell my brothers I still like the drive. I just there's nothing else that I've ever done that compares with pulling that stage beam on and then the light blinks and you smash that throttle. It's something I've never experienced in anything else I've ever done. You know what I mean? So I love the sound. I love the look of the cars. I love the smell of the nitro. I love the fact that 2 cars stage and the winner's the one that gets to the end first. You know what I mean? It's no subjectiveness. It is what it is. It's just, everything about the sport. I just love it,
So what's the quickest pass you've made with a funny car?
Only in the high fives, 590 at 244, I think we ran. So, like I said, we're hoping to improve that. We think this thing should run 70s. Hopefully, maybe even get a high 60 out of it if we lean on it hard enough.
So, what are your favorite tracks out there in Australia?
Well, Willowbank's our home track, which is just outside of Brisbane. It's a great track. I haven't run the new Perth Motorplex. They tell me it's a fantastic track. The track in Sydney is a remarkable track as well, and not that it's operating on a limited thing. We used to love going to Calder Park in Melbourne, which was a great facility as well. But at this stage, I'd have to say Willowbank, our home track. It's a great facility and always prepped beautifully, and you can get down there.
So, what are you looking forward to the most out of running with the Aeroflow group of drivers?
They're a great bunch of guys. We actually went to an Aeroflow meeting last year, but it got rained out. We were going to give the car a run there. We didn't have enough testing under our belt, but we were going to race, but it got rained out. The drivers, the crews, all the guys are really great to get along with. they draw tremendous crowds to these meetings, and I just think, putting on a good show and having some good drag racing, it's a dream come true in a small. When you've got a country like Australia, there's not the pile of funny cars to draw from like you guys have in America. So when Graham puts on a show like this and he brings like 8 of his own cars to a meeting, and you might have 4 or 5 other independent cars, it's a terrific thing to have a dozen Nitro funny cars all in the pits to race each other. It's just the competition is incredible. So I think that's the biggest thing I look forward to is there's a heap of cars and there's a heap of competition.
Yeah, the fans love a good show with all those big header flames coming out of the funny cars and the speed and everything. The nostalgia. Because, the big show cars these days, I don't know if you think the same way, but a lot of the big show cars kind of look the same, the bodies, but the nostalgia, you got the older looking bodies, which, I prefer looking at the older looking funny car bodies rather than the newer ones.
Oh, definitely. Well, that's what I mean. I think now whether you look at Force's Camaro or friggin' Timmy Wilkinson's Mustang, the only difference in the body shape is the headlight stickers they put on the front, just about. You know what I mean? So they're all very crafted. But yeah, I love the nostalgia funny car looks. That's when I grew up. That's how funny cars looked. You know what I mean? And the burnouts and the dry hops, and putting on a show for the crowd. That was the biggest thing. Not the way back then. It wasn't the ET. Wasn't everything where it is in Big Show now. If the ET is everything and it's win, lose, or draw, but the Nitro funny cars we grew up watching when we were young, it was about entertaining the crowd and keeping the crowds coming through the gates.
Yep, I agree with you on that one.
It's the show, the show. Yeah, the show is everything. You got to keep people in those grandstands, or you've got no show.
Yeah, nowadays it's very corporate.
It's all about.
Yeah, the big show NHRA is very corporate.
Well, you just can't play the game. Like, I mean, when I hear that, the pension and crankshafts off every 3 runs and selling them out, and, it's a multi-million-dollar operation to go and play with those guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think if you haven't got $5 or $6 million for the year, you can't play.
Yep, it's all about getting big sponsors to run with those big boys.
Exactly, mate, exactly. So, that's what I love about the Heritage Series and Nostalgia Nitro Funny Car. If you've got a car and you go to the start line, you've got a chance. You know what I mean? So,
yep. So
makes a big difference.
Yes, it does. So now, Ron, where do you get all your fire safety equipment from?
What have I got in the car? I just buy. I buy most of it off High Performance World here at Graham Cowan's business. So, but I think in saying that, it's got Simpson seat belts in it. ISP head pads, the fire suit and everything's all Simpson. Yeah, so mainly Simpson stuff we're using at the moment.
Now, so now, what would you consider to be some of the milestones in your drag racing career? Have you reached any milestones so far?
Yeah, we've had a few good wins over the years. We won when I was driving for my father. We won the Funny Car Championship in 1980. Set the national record way back then, which was a 6:47 in 1980, which was the fastest run in the Southern Hemisphere. Even there'd been some American drag racers had come out and run, so that was a big achievement. we won the Australian Nationals, brothers and I, in 1993 against some pretty stout competition. So they're probably the two biggest. You know, we've won some other meetings and runners up and whatnot, but they're probably the two that stick out in my mind the most.
Now, throughout your drag racing career, have you had any accidents or close accidents at all?
Yeah, in Adelaide one time we had a malfunction in the lock-up clutch. That was when we were running the dual pump car, and it left the start line. I was running a Glenn Micros from America. He was in the other lane, and the car left hard but darted towards the centre line, and I pedalled it. And when I pedalled it, the whole lock-up clutch came on, and the thing stood up in the air. The front wheels were about 6 foot in the air, and the back wheels were about a foot off the ground. And it came crashing back to earth and broke one of the A-arms off the front and crunched up against the fence and tried to get the throttle involved again. So that was a bit of a nasty mess, but not too bad. You know, we walked out of that, we shut her off and fixed it all up. But that was probably one of the scariest. I've had a couple of small fires, which are never nice, but nothing more major than that at this stage of my life, you know, so which is good.
Well, knock on wood, mate, that you won't have any accidents.
No, that's true. There's no future in those, Dave.
All right, now I'm going to ask you some fun questions now.
Yep.
Besides drag racing, yes, there is other things besides drag racing, Ron. Do you have any other hobbies?
Yeah, I love fishing. I love going fishing.
Fishing.
Son and I often go out fishing. You know, once again, we motorbike ride. Love motorbikes. Anything with engines really. I used to. I sort of haven't done it for a long time, but used to build race engines for different guys with race boats and stuff. So love going to the boat races and watching those guys race. And the rest of the time, two of my daughters have got farms, so usually just helping them with the farms at different times.
Yeah, fishing's great. Me and my wife love to go fishing too.
Yes, it's a great sport, especially if you're catching them.
Yeah, no, it's nice even when you don't catch fish, just to relax out there by the water. Very relaxing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, especially if you've got a little esky, Dave, with a couple of cold ones in it. That makes it better still.
Yeah. So now, it would be interesting for me to go fishing in Australia, because I don't know what kind of fish you guys have out there.
We have some beauties.
So now, do you go freshwater fishing or saltwater fishing?
Bit of both. We live on a property that's got a big river running through it, so my son often, we go down the river and do some freshwater fishing, so we get bass. I know you guys have bass over there.
Yeah.
We have another fish called the yellow belly, so we do that, and then we sometimes just head down to Noosa, which is only 20 minutes away, and you know, it's got the Noosa River, which is salt water, and the ocean out the front, so yeah, you get bream, flathead, you know, whiting, all sorts of nice saltwater fish out that way, you know, so.
Yeah. So now, throughout your drag racing career, Ronald, how many trophies or plaques, any kind of stuff like that, have you won? Have you won any?
Yeah. Like I said, we won the Australian Nationals. We won the Funny Car Championship. We won. I'm just trying to think. Probably half a dozen different accolade, you know, trophies and stuff throughout the time we've run and not run. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
By far the biggest was the Australian Nationals. That's and the 1980 Funny Car Championship. That was a big one too. But all a few moons ago. So we're looking to add to it this year, Dave.
Now, if you were able to do time traveling and go backwards in time, would you do anything differently with the drag racing career?
Money permitting, yes, I wouldn't have had the hiatuses. You know what I mean? I would have. But when you're raising kids and a family and you got mortgages and stuff like that, you've got to spend the money where it needs to be. And unfortunately, there wasn't enough money to go around to drag race a lot of those times. So, yeah, if I had the money, I would have kept, not had the hiatuses from drag racing. I would have kept it going. And time travel, maybe I'd love to have raced when Orange County and those places had the 64 funny car shows. They would have been great to see.
So now, if you ever are able to run at Bakersfield, who would you love to line up with at Bakersfield?
Gosh, I'd love to run Stephen Densham, Gary's son. That'd be great because Gary helps us out so much. Jason Rupert, Bobby Cottrell, all of those guys. It'd be just a real thrill to stage, knowing that you're staging and they're staging in the other lane. That'd be a real thrill.
Yeah, wouldn't it be a thrill if you were the you came over from Australia and go against Bobby Cottrell and you were the one to knock him out of the championship?
I can dream big, Dave. I can dream big.
Yeah.
That'd be a magic thing. He seems like a top bloke. I've heard him being interviewed and whatnot. He seems like a top bloke. So I'm sure he'd take it well. But you got to get round that Bucky horsepower. That's the trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great team right there.
Oh, yeah, it's so consistent. That thing is like a bracket car at times. And that's what wins your races is consistency. It's no good running a killer time, one run, and then not being able to reproduce it. These guys seem to be able to make that car come out and go again and again and again, which is just incredible.
Yeah. Okay, next question is... Here's an easy question for you. What's your favorite food you like to eat?
Food? I'm partial to a good roast. I love, whether it be beef, lamb, or pork, I don't mind. I like my roast dinners.
All right, what's your favorite beverage to drink?
Beer, mate. I'm a poor man's budget. I like a cold beer on a hot summer's day. That's for sure.
Cold Australian beer?
Yeah, cold Australian beer. 4X I drink. That's the name of the beer in Queensland here.
Now, if you're drinking a non-alcoholic drink, what's your favorite drink?
I really like water. If I'm not having a beverage, you know what I mean? I like water. I'll have a soft drink every now and then, but at my age, try and avoid all that sugar.
Yeah. All right, so what would you consider to be your favorite movie of all time?
Oh gosh, I like comedies, Dave. I tell you what, I like Talladega Nights with Will Ferrell. I like Step Brothers with Will Ferrell.
You love Will Ferrell.
I don't mind a good laugh. I don't mind a good laugh. Someone that'll make me laugh. There's too much garbage in the world at the moment to want to get in. A lot of these Hollywood friggin' movies are out now. They have no hope, no decent ending. The older movies at least gave you hope that there was a better day coming.
Yeah. Yeah, Will Ferrell's got a lot of funny movies.
Yeah, he does. I don't mind a good belly laugh. It's good for the soul.
Yeah, laughter's the best medicine.
Exactly. I believe that. I truly do.
Okay, so what's your favorite music you like to listen to?
I'm a bit of a country and western fan, mate. I'm a bit of a country and western fan. I like Alan Jackson. I like Tim McGraw. A lot of those guys. So Yeah, I love country and western, which my wife hates, so I've usually got to listen to it on my own.
Okay. Let's see. What on a race day, when you're on a race day, do you eat regular? Or do you eat very light on a race day?
Probably late. I'd eat something for breakfast, and then I probably won't. I'll just sip water most of the day, and then after the racing's done, then you hit the barbecue and have a bit of a burger and a couple of cold beers. But no, I don't really. I'm never really that hungry when the meetings. When you're going to do a couple of rounds of racing. So never really that hungry. I'll have breakfast, but that's about it.
Okay, so what's been the most embarrassing moment you had while on the track racing?
Most embarrassing. I don't know. Embarrassing wise, I've had. I suppose one time I was running Peter Russo and we staged, and I was always able to leave on Pete, and friggin' the light came on. I mashed the throttle and the car didn't go anywhere. It snapped the throttle cable. Another time I caught fire in Calder, and I couldn't see because there was so much smoke in the cabin, and I'd pulled the chutes and I was slowing the car down. And I thought it was just about stopped, and I undid my belts and I popped my head out of the escape hatch, but it was still doing about 60 mile an hour. So I had to duck back in the car and slam the brakes on and pull it up, and then the fire mob were right beside me. I jumped. They had a huge guy on the crew. He was twice my size on the fire crew, and I jumped off the roof into his arms.
Oh no!
Yeah, I just swan dived and he caught me, so he put me down on the ground. But no, I haven't. There's nothing too embarrassing. Yeah, we broke a throttle cable. Kicked a couple of rods, but it's all part of racing, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So, what's been the greatest memory of your drag racing career?
Just so many memories, Dave. Just racing with Dad, racing with my brothers. That's why we still do it. You know what I mean? It keeps, like I said, the two brothers, they don't particularly live close to me, but we all meet up to work on the car and go racing. So yeah, just all of those memories. You know what I mean? Just every time we do something like that, it's a great memory. The three of us went to the Hot Rod reunion in 2017. We flew over together and stayed over there for a month and went to all the different race meets. We went to Bakersfield, we went to Las Vegas, we went to the drag boat World Finals, and then we came back for the World Finals at Pomona. So that was a great memory. That was a great trip. So yeah, I've got a lot of good memories racing with me father. You know what I mean? All of those, they're all good memories.
So now, if people want to follow you with your racing, they could go on the Atholwood Brothers page on Facebook. That page keeps updated.
Yeah, I haven't updated it for a while, but now that we're going to run, I'll have new stuff on there when we test. I'll upload videos of us testing. So yeah, it's the Atholwood Brothers Nitro Funny Car page. So yeah, I'll start when we test at the end of this month. I'll upload new videos and inform people of our progress and when and where we're racing.
And of course, the Aeroflow page.
The Aeroflow page, yeah. Well, they update that too. They'll have our details on there when we're racing their meetings.
Okay, now you have any final words, mate?
Just like to say good day to everyone over there, and yeah, safe racing, and yeah, can't wait to get back over and see a few more meetings. And like I said, big dream is to bring the old assassin over and run a couple of meetings over there. That'd be just fantastic.
Yeah, that would be great to get you over to the United States one of these days.
So whereabouts in the States are you, Dave?
And Ronald, I want to thank you very much for taking time to interview.
All right, thank you, Dave. I'll talk soon.
You have a great day, Ronald.
You too, mate. Bye.